Would the Torchic line make good service Pokemon? Okay, I'm not even gonna hide this one. Torchic is the most undexterous starter Pokemon I've ever seen, at least in its first form. However, just because it doesn't have dexterity doesn't mean that it's not at all useful. This does make them very quick, however, they have no protection or utility otherwise, except Torchic is very unique for the way it produces heat. It's known that if you hold a Torchic, they will feel warm to the touch. A lot of people love having them around because they're just simply like a small, warm, stuffed animal. And since they're so sweet and also kind of afraid of the dark, they usually seek companionship as well. This makes them very popular with a wide range of people, a lot of which who have physical and some mental disabilities. They're very popular with individuals who have problems regulating their own body temperature, such as people with anemia and people with diabetes. However, it is very common to see them in children's hospitals, as many children who have problems with regulating their body or simply need a warm companion usually will get to have some of these guys around. However, that's not the end of their usefulness, as when Torchic evolves into Combuskin, it gains a whole new perspective. And yes, those are arms, so it does become a bit more dexterous. But believe it or not, it still doesn't rely on its hands. Combuskin is known for using very strong kicks and leg movements. This might not seem very useful, but again, there are people who just simply need help moving around. People in mobility scooters, as well as regular wheelchairs. They will happily push, or in some cases pull people around, both as a sense of training and as a sense of companionship. However, the dexterity on this Pokemon is still a bit low, as it doesn't actually have any thumbs, just sort of long, kind of claw-like hands. But when it evolves into Blaziken is where we see a whole change in this Pokemon's demeanor. This Pokemon has a very courageous personality and will go out of its way to protect people that it deems worthy of protecting. It's now producing flames from the bands on its wrists, which is really cool because it's also one of the few starter Pokemon that can produce flames in a very careful and controlled manner. It's still incredibly warm, and it does shed its feathers pretty regularly, which a lot of people even claim that Blaziken feathers are still warm as well, so that can be a great useful add-on whenever your Blaziken is molting. Many people will keep this Pokemon around for a very long time, usually for people who have a longer lasting condition, but Blaziken is there to help make sure that the process will be a lot more manageable and will always be a sturdy companion. The Torchic line really is an example of sometimes you need to grow into what makes you great, and I think that's really amazing. And if you have any other examples of how the Torchic line could be useful, let me know in the comments below. But with that being said, I believe this answers the question,